Bienvenidos, and welcome to the Defining Chicanismo, Boyle Heights and East Los Angeles Chicano Mural exhibition here at the National Museum of the American Latino. My name is Abner Olivares, and I will be your tour guide today. In this exhibit, we will take a trip around the East Side Barrio to better understand the area's mural clusters and their relation to early interpretations of Chicanismo. For Mexican Americans on the East Side during the 1970s, assimilation into white culture, referred to as Anglo, became socially unacceptable as residents increasingly resisted the people who oppressed and denigrated them in the streets, the workplace, and in the law. Popularity of the Chicana identity signaled endorsement of the political struggle for civil rights, known generally as El Movimiento, which reached a climax during the Chicano moratorium, in which East Los residents took to the streets to protest the Vietnam War. The recurring political essence of this identity was perhaps captured best by Americo Paredes, an esteemed Texas scholar who said, "I call myself a Chicano when it's a political matter." While Chicanismo would eventually unravel into various identities and counter-symbols, the skeleton of that original ideology set the stage for a new political consciousness that emerged within the national Latino community. We investigate these murals because their presence, in many cases, are the last community artifacts that detail the immediate struggle of defining this new political consciousness. In them, we observe the historical, political, community-oriented, and sometimes gang-related aspects of being a Chicano. As these murals continue to disappear due to old age and citywide gentrification, it is even more crucial that we document their stories here today. Our first stop on this tour takes us to the Pan American Bank in East Los Angeles. The year is 1966, and we begin here because through these first mytho-historical murals, we observe the transformations from Mexican to Mexican American to Chicano right before our eyes. This particular mural contains 5 panels, each approximately 10 feet by 4 feet, and its themes are agriculture, family, peace, nationalism, and technology. Although the term raza is not explicitly used in this piece, the emphasized R in our title conveys to its audience early notions of a redefined history. Next, we travel south to view John Benet's mosaics at the East LA Doctors Hospital. Similar to Messa's mural, Benet also emphasizes muscular, idealized men and women in scenes of family, nationalism, and technology. In these kinds of murals, the message is clear. The people of La Raza, the Mexican-American observers, are strong, historically determined people. In these murals, we see the beginning of reclaimed self-imagery that fought to counter the decades of denigration and discrimination towards Mexicans and Mexican-Americans in the media. As we enter the 1970s, we return to First Street, just across from the Pan American Bank. Robert Arenívar's The Story of Our Struggle is made up of 17 panels displaying an immediate political shift towards his viewers' experiences. Some murals depict conquest by conquistadors and the Catholic Church, revolutionaries, and explicit references to the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The images on the screen depict a contemporary Chicano cutting the chains off another, a balance scale in which dollars weigh more heavily than the people it is crushing below, a man entangled by cogs and machinery, and a call to arms led by death itself. Here, it is clear that the message has changed. As the decade took off, it was increasingly common to come across politically charged murals, as artists and community residents joined forces to express their anger towards Anglo institutions. Murals such as No Somos Esclavos de la Migra and No Compre Vino Gallo left little room for interpretation when stumbled upon by outsiders. No Somos Esclavos de la Migra speaks directly to Immigration and Naturalization Services, INS, for their constant military sweeps into workplaces and people's homes. In it, we see community members organizing and protesting against the detention of 3 men as the words "Ya basta" or "stop" are shouted. This mural's companion piece, No Compre Vino Gallo, is a direct call to boycott Gallo wine. The mural was painted at the height of the Great Boycott organized by the United Farm Workers and resonated heavily with this Chicano community. It is also important to point out that as seen in these images, the All Nations Neighborhood Center, where these past 2 murals stood, has long been replaced by the Social Security Administration building. We turn our attention up the street to Brooklyn Avenue, now Cesar Chavez Avenue, where Frank Romero's Un Corazón por la Gente once stood. The importance of this intersection and the changes that have taken place here should be contextualized with the centrality of this corner. On Cesar Chavez, one can access downtown, Olvera Street, the Union Station train terminal, the Los Angeles River, the eastern edge of the city, and the western edge of East Los. On this avenida, Boyle Heights' commercial district lives and is trafficked heavily by residents and outsiders. Un Corazón por la Gente is one of many publicly funded citywide murals and can thus be interpreted as commercial Chicanismo. Our People, the next mural to occupy this wall, is not much different in terms of audienceship. In it we observe themes of family, indigeneity, Southern California, and nature. Though pictured in it are two young boys standing in solidarity with their fists raised, in comparison to the murals painted at the All Nations neighborhood center just down the street, this mural treads lightly. We move to 4th Street now to visit a mural painted by White Fence gang members with the Mexicano Art Center. Centro Mexicano, which was 1 block west of the East LA Doctors Hospital, was a neighborhood, grassroots, on-the-street art center. It, like many of the murals painted in partnership with them, have been gone for a long time. White Fence mural painted by a youth gang helps further contextualize our understanding of Chicanismo in the contemporary. In it, a Mexican soldier is caught between the U.S. and the Catholic Church. The bishop, like Uncle Sam, is clutching a money bag, tempting the revolutionary to look their way. This mural was located just down the block from Our Lady of Talpa Church. To further gauge the evolving notion of Chicanismo on the east side, we turn to the residential neighborhood of Estrada Courts. These apartments were intended to address the housing shortage that resulted from the rapid growth of wartime industries. While we have seen murals prop up all around the east side, Estrada Courts has been commonly said to be the site of the 1970s birth of the Chicano mural art movement. We turn here to investigate the residential interpretations of Chicanismo. Give Me Life was painted by Charles Cap Felix and the Kids of the World, and it invites the viewer, an Estrada Court resident, to consider the possibilities life offers against an empty backdrop. The original mural depicts themes of life and death as intertwined, and it makes the case for community members to realize their potential amidst uncertainty. This mural has gone through a number of small changes as more outsiders have frequented the courts, but its original interpretation is just as relevant today as it was in 1973. The black and white moratorium mural is a prime example of taking charge of one's own history. In it, scenes from the East LA blowouts and the Chicano moratorium show armed soldiers patrolling the streets, jailed youth, political demonstrations, and a slain and bleeding body believed to be Ruben Salazar, the LA Times reporter who was killed in a police raid during the moratorium. Despite early criticism from the LAPD due to its depiction of law enforcement, this mural still stands today. Next, we turn to a mural that is equally politically charged but no longer exists. The entire focus of the wonderful world of corruption was overt opposition to the Vietnam War and the role the CIA played in fostering the local illicit drug industry. The mural only lasted 2 years before it was painted out, but it demonstrates the willingness of residents to speak on more than just local issues. The final image of this decade contextualizes the Chicano experience in East Los Angeles within the global community of color. We Are Not a Minority claims a historical, social, and ethnic presence for Chicanos in the world, and is grounded in the daily experiences of its audience. Ultimately, the mural is a direct embodiment of attitudes, approaches, activism, and ethos of 1970s Chicanismo. Entering a post-1970s East Side, we return to Soto and Cesar Chavez to analyze Chicanismo following the decline of public memory towards the era of El Movimiento. The Corrido de Boyle Heights is a final mural to take this corner site and is also a continuation of publicly funded citywide murals. Its themes are family and community and is one of the most well-known murals in all of Boyle Heights. Though made for public consumption, its imagery of working-class life still captures the authenticity of the neighborhood it represents. Next, we return to Estrada Courts to remember the contemporary history Chicanos have built for themselves. As Chicano Ancestors depicts, today's Chicanos are a combination of a Spanish and European mixed conquest people and a modern post-colonial people of mixed descent, including revolutionaries such as Pancho Villa and Miguel Zapata, labor organizers like Cesar Chavez, and a movie star such as Cantinflas. This is the only mural in the Estrada courts sponsored by an official state institution and is perhaps a signal of the normalization of Chicano history in the mainstream. Our third stop in this era takes us across town to Manuel Cruz's Untitled Laundromat mural. Not only was this mural not funded by the state, but it opposes the state's Proposition 187, a proposed California law widely viewed as racist in its effort to make California an English-only state. With its center message of USA Raza Latina Unidos en Paz and an image of Miguel Hidalgo ringing the Liberty Bell, this mural reminds its audience that Islos, as with all of Los Angeles and the Southwest, was once Mexican. While other muralists in this era had begun to shift to a more conservative or communal depictions of Chicanismo, Manuel Cruz reminds us of the political platform these murals served. Nearing the end of our exhibit, we end with two murals from Paul Botello. The Greatest Love, painted in 1992, holds themes of nature, technology, and humanity. This mural can be seen as a continuation of the changing murals that have taken place on the Cesar Chavez and Soto Street corner, and is a clear departure from the politically charged ones we had seen previously in residential spaces. Botello is aspirational in his depiction of the barrio's future and takes on a new universalized and spiritual interpretation of Chicanismo. To end our journey, we visit the site of the Chicano moratorium protest at Laguna Park, now renamed Ruben Salazar Park. Commissioned by Los Tigres del Norte, Botello's The Wall That Speaks, Sings, and Shouts pays tribute to 1970s Chicanismo in a way that is not captured by his previous mural. This mural contains specific references to Ruben Salazar, police harassment, and violence as seen through pallbearers carrying a body wrapped in the American flag. This mural empowers viewers to see themselves as bearer of the Chicano history even 30 years apart. In small writings on the young boy's laptop, the words "De Paisano a Paisano" can be read. Apart from being the title of a song by Los Tigres del Norte, these words are evident of Botello's intention to gift the viewer of the history many have so long forgotten. You have reached the end of the exhibit. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at the National Museum of the American Latino. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.